Welcome back to the player ratings for Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 0. What a result, what a performance from the lads. All over the pitch, just absolutely brilliant. Thought they were fantastic. So let's dive straight in to the player ratings for this one. First up in goal, Mamardashvili. I think he's been really, really good since he's come in. I've not had any concerns with him at all in terms of the goals we've conceded, and he has conceded a few, but I don't think he's really been at fault for any of them. You know, Caicedo pinging shots into the top corner. I don't think he was at fault for the Brentford goals. I just feel like he's looked really assured when we've needed him to. He's saved what he's needed to save. He's pulled off a couple of very, very big saves for us as well. And tonight there was a couple more. Certainly the one that deflects for Matty Cash. Matty Cash puts a cross into the box and it just deflects up off Van Dijk and it looks like it's dipping into that top corner just underneath the crossbar, and it's an acrobatic dive and he tips it onto the crossbar and over into the Kop. Unbelievable save from him to keep it. I think it would have been 0. Was it 0-0 at that point? I think it was, wasn't it? So it was a huge moment in the game, really, because that could have turned so quickly. So I think Mamardashvili deserves a lot of credit, and I would give him a 7.5 tonight. I think he was really, really good in the moments we needed him to be. He commanded his box quite well. And it's good. It's good to have another keeper in there. I think this moment with Alisson being out, it's been painful because Alisson's just unreal. He's our best goalkeeper, certainly in my lifetime, but maybe of all time. I think he's unbelievable, and having him out is always going to be. There's always going to be a drop in quality, but it might be helpful in the long run with Mamardashvili coming in and having to play a run of games like this, and maybe, you know, playing a little bit through a bit of pain in the sense of us losing games and him finding his way and having to command the back line and stuff like that. Alisson will come back and he'll go straight back into the team. Of course he will, but this is our long-term successor, isn't he? Mamardashvili is our number one. As soon as Alisson goes, it might well be the end of this season or whenever, but either way, Mamardashvili is our replacement, and I think I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's really good succession planning from Liverpool, and I think he's done really well. So I just want to make a point with Mamardashvili. I like what I'm seeing. He's doing well. Right back, Conor Bradley missed a big chance again. He's getting some chances, Conor Bradley, to score. Misses a big chance in the second half. But by and large did quite well. Yeah, he defensively didn't really get troubled. They tried to go down that first sort of down that side. They target him quite a bit when Conor Bradley's at right back, and maybe understandably so, given how young he is and maybe a little bit inexperienced at times. He does get caught out, but he's a wonderful right back. He's so gifted physically. He's quick. He's sharp. We've seen that he can be physical. But he does need to learn and adapt a little bit more to the system that we're trying to play and maybe the instructions that Slot gives him. But I always appreciate when Conor Bradley's in the side that he is going to be one that gets up and down. He's got the ability to get up and down. We was doing the Northern Ireland game not that long ago, and someone likened him to Gareth Bale. Not maybe in the sense of ability and quality. That'd be wonderful, wouldn't it, if we had a right-sided Gareth Bale? But in the sense that he's a right back who potentially could play a little bit further forward. He's got such sort of natural stamina and energy and can get up and down the pitch, and I like that about him. I think he's really important for us, and still so young. You know, captains his national side. He's going to be a big player for us going forward. So tonight I thought he was good again. In a performance where the defence excelled, he played his part. So I would give him a 7. Give him a 7. Canate alongside him won everything. Some really, really big duels tonight. Canate won. Could have had maybe a shot on goal, maybe a header in the first half, wasn't it? First half, towards the end of the first half, he has a moment where he gets up and it feels like he could head it maybe back across goal, or could have had an assist, could have had a goal. I don't know. Maybe should have done a bit better on that one, but that would be splitting hairs. I think defensively he was really sound, and again, even in this bad run, I do think Konate's been, for the most part, he's been quite good defensively. I've not really had an issue with him defensively throughout most of this bad run. It's not been him. He's not been the reason we've conceded goals. And I don't think you could say the same for Van Dijk, to be honest, either. It's been a whole team problem that we've lost games and that we've conceded goals and that we've looked a little bit shaky and we've looked a little bit vulnerable to the counter and we've looked vulnerable on set pieces. That again, that's a whole team defensive issue. It's not just down to the two big centre-backs. But tonight, the two big centre-backs led and dominated aerially. And there's a lot to be said for that. We need that from them. And tonight they stepped up. So, Konate, I'd give him a 7. Van Dijk 2, I'd maybe give Van Dijk a 7.5 because I think that one moment in the first half, as I said, where Gesand gets the wrong side of Van Dijk. He kind of gets ahead of Andy Robertson and breaks into the box. And it's a big moment again in the first half, that one. Van Dijk just shepherds him out of play. He just turns the afterburners on, catches up to Gesand, and I think he ends up winning the goal kick in the end, doesn't he? That was a big moment in the first half too, because Gesand was breaking towards the 6-yard box there. So it was a good moment there for Van Dijk. I thought he was really good. Again, captain material as always, leading from the back. And 7.5 I'd give Van Dijk. Andy Robertson tonight. I love Robertson. I absolutely love him. He's one of my favourite players of all time. But I do think we need to be playing Kirkes. I do think we need to be playing him and playing him regularly and starting him. Now that we've started him and put him in like from the start of the season, Kirkes is the number one left back and Robertson hasn't been. But when we've put him in, he has never let us down, really, has he? The Chelsea game aside, and you could say that was because of his injury. He picked up an injury, didn't he? And he switched off and Esteban scores. But by and large, Andy Robertson has never let us down when he's played. And he's been asked to play centre-back in midweek in a cup game against Palace where we're quite obviously throwing the towel in. I just love him. He's unbelievable. And tonight brings that a little bit of level of solidity to the team. Again, they didn't get any change out of him. Gesand didn't get ahead of him. After that first moment in the first half, he just got ahead of him that one time, and Van Dijk was there, and between the two of them, they got it out. Other than that, Robertson didn't get beaten at all tonight. He did really well. So I'd probably give him the same as Bradley on the other side. I'd give him a 7. Van Dijk 7.5, Mamardashvili 7.5. The other three 7 out of 10. I thought they were good. Into midfield. Ryan Gravenberch gets a goal. Brilliant. Again, he comes straight back in after injury and just straight into it. It's just unbelievable. He's just a really, really top player. We've seen earlier tonight in the Chelsea-Tottenham game, Moise Caicedo, and we've seen Enzo Maresca come out after the game and say that Caicedo's just an unbelievable player. He's one of the best CDMs in the world, and just lavish praise on him, and understandably so because Caicedo's top quality. Gravenberch's every bit as good for me. He's absolutely unreal, and he just dominates games and glides about the pitch. And at his best, I'm not sure there's another midfielder around that I'd swap him for. He's that good. He is really. He can play alongside any one of them, really. He's so good. And there's not too many in Europe that can do what Ryan Gravenberch does. He's absolutely unbelievable when he's on form. And I love to see him. He's exactly the style of midfielder that you love. Picks the ball up, carries it, can beat a man for pace, can beat him for strength, wins his aerial duels, and can get forward and get a goal like that as well. Admittedly, he gets a little bit of a lucky break. But Ryan Gravenberch was brilliant tonight. I'd give him an 8 out of 10. Alongside him, Alexis McAllister. He has to get an 8 out of 10 as well. Even though he doesn't get the goal, he has to get the 8. Oh, he does get an assist. He does get the assist for Gravenberch's goal, doesn't he? I'd give McAllister an 8 out of 10. Terrific. Back to his best. Thought he was fabulous. In fact, I think Szoboszlai as well. Szoboszlai 8 out of 10. All three of them. 8. Maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe 8.5. They were all absolutely fantastic. Pressed the life out of Aston Villa, and Onana couldn't live with him. Kamara couldn't live with him. McGinn, couldn't live with him. And those three are not shabby midfielders either. They're very physical. When I saw the lineup before the game, I looked at big lads, them three in the middle of the park, and we're going to get bullied a little bit today if we're not careful. They're all quick, they're strong. John McGinn can run for days. He's basically Andy Robertson in midfield in many ways, isn't he? He's absolutely unreal, John McGinn, and they didn't get a kick. Those three were sensational tonight. Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, the three that just won us the league last year, played like champions tonight. So those three, I'm just going to give all three an 8.5. They were absolutely fabulous. Szoboszlai was everywhere. He gets TNT's player of the match, doesn't he, as well? So a point on Szoboszlai, who's just, again, we're kind of used to that with Dominic Szoboszlai now, aren't we? He's just been like that every single game this season. He's quickly becoming Liverpool's most important player. First name on the team sheet. And it was right to drop him out of that Palace game in midweek. He needs a rest, and we've seen the effect that it can have. Taking those players out in midweek, that has absolutely contributed to tonight's performance, and that needs to be noted. That has to be credited to Arne Slot. Yes, we've gone out of the competition, but I think that's exactly why we've put that performance in tonight, and hopefully we sustain that against Real Madrid in midweek as well. And that's going to be the other big test, but we'll see. We'll come to that later. Let's talk about tonight. On to the front three. Gakpo, left-hand side. Snatched at a few, didn't he? Snatched at a few tonight. He was good. He was all right. He pressed well, and he ran at the fullback quite a lot. I don't think Matty Cash had a particularly good night against him, but he was all right, and he got the better of Matty Cash a few times, and Robertson overlapped and got ahead of him, and that worked quite well. And that's maybe the issue with Gakpo and Robertson. Robertson knows where he needs to be in relation to Gakpo because they've played together for a while. Kerkez maybe doesn't as yet. And Arne Slot has mentioned this in pre-match conferences and post-matches as well. He said, hasn't he, Gakpo's a fair few times where Kerkez is in a really good position for him and he doesn't find him. We know he likes to cut inside and have a shot. That's all fine. But maybe there's a few times he could look at his mate over the shoulder, and Kerkez has been in good positions, has made good runs forward, and he hasn't chose to find him, whereas Robertson's maybe a bit smarter with it, a bit cuter with it, because of that experience playing with Gakpo. He knows when he's likely to find him and when he's not, so he knows when to stay and when to go. And a few times tonight, I think Gakpo snatched at chances. He had a couple of shots in the first half that went miles over the bar. But you can see also that's I'm not complaining about that, because there's a reason why after Salah, Gakpo has been our biggest goal contributor over time. Cody Gakpo, he shoots, he creates, he's exactly what you need in a left winger. So he's often underrated, Cody Gakpo, and he's often one of the ones who, fans give a lot of stick to. It feels like he's the scapegoat a lot of the time. It has been Mo Salah, funnily enough, not tonight, but it has been Cody Gakpo quite a lot. And I thought he was good tonight. I'd give him a 7. I think he was all right. Yeah, decent night for Cody Gakpo. Ekitike scores a good goal. He was miles offside, but he didn't really do an awful lot else tonight, did he? There wasn't really too much from Ekitike. I mean, he did what he needed to do. Led the line well enough. Scores a good goal. It's a good header in the first half, isn't it? And he linked up well, but he didn't do as much. Didn't really get too many big chances in the game. I'd give him maybe a 6.5. He didn't get involved maybe enough for me. There's a couple of times where he should have been found, and if he had been, then we would have been talking about a slightly different game. He's so clinical, but he didn't really get involved in the game maybe as much as I would have liked. I'd give him maybe a 6.5. Mo Salah on the right, just unreal. Just that's a gargantuan performance from Mo Salah, and it's kind of upset me a little bit that he scores and he's a little bit muted in his celebration. You didn't need to do that, Mo. Just celebrate it, run over and pump the fists and be excited and give the crowd what they want. Yes, it was a bit of a, he kind of put it on a plate for you, but it was still a really good finish, and it was a big goal, 1-0. We're so desperate for that goal, isn't it? And he gets it, and he's like, oh, come on. Like, Mo, I don't know why he's got to be so bloody, is it arrogance? Maybe it is. Maybe it's like, well, listen, you've all been giving me some stick, and I'm really, really good, and don't be taking me out the side. And yes, I've been sulking because I'm the shit. I am absolutely unreal. You can't be dropping me when I'm playing like this. And he scored he was brilliant before the goal. A couple of times where he ran and rings round Villa, and he made a couple of really good passes as well that he could have had a couple of assists tonight, minimum 2 to 3 assists. But then he gets the goal, and celebrates how he celebrates, and then second half he's even better. Second half he was wonderful too. Couple of times on the counter-attack he probably should have killed the game off and didn't quite find the right pass, and it was cut out by Villa, but he's getting back to it. He's getting back to his absolute lethal best. And I thought he was brilliant tonight. I'd give him a 9 out of 10. He was my man of the match. I know TNT gave it to Szoboszlai. I think they could quite easily have given it to any one of the midfield or Mo Salah. So they were my stars tonight. The other noteworthy thing tonight is that Arne Slot only makes one change, and maybe I guess he's making a point there that we didn't have a game in midweek. I rested all these players, so they're all fresh, so they can all play 90 minutes. So he took Ekitike off, he put Florian Wirtz on, and the only noteworthy thing I do want to say with Florian Wirtz is that when he comes on, a couple of times, he just bounces a Villa player off, doesn't he? Did you notice that? I think there was one. There was a moment where he bounced a Villa player off, and I went, whoa, look at that physicality from Wirtz. There's been people saying what an unbelievable, waste of money this guy's been, and he's not ready for the Premier League, and he's not up to the physicality and the pace of it. And I can't remember who it was in midfield who he bounced. It might have been McGinn, I don't know, but not a player that you would expect to be bounced by Wirtz, put it that way. But he bounced him off, and then he passed it straight out of play. So put me straight back in my box. But I thought it was better from Wirtz that at least there was a little sign there from Wirtz that, maybe he's doing some work in the gym. I don't know what it is, but he didn't look as slight. He looked prepared to, up for the fight, and he threw himself into a few challenges. Didn't really influence the game. He was only on for 15 minutes at the end. But it was a nice little cameo. And I think we'll see more of Florian Wirtz. Certainly when Mo Salah disappears to the AFCON, those 6-7 games where Salah is away, Florian Wirtz will take the stage. And I absolutely have no doubt that he will thrive in that environment. But I think that's when we'll see the best of him. When we can maybe switch to a box midfield with Wirtz, as well as Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch, and then we'll have Ekitike and Isak up front, or Ekitike and Gakpo, or Gakpo and Isak, or whatever. But I do think that's the situation we end up finding ourselves in, is we play to a 4-4-2 when Salah goes. And we'll see, maybe we see more of that. It's kind of how we played against Eintracht Frankfurt, which was the standout performance in this run. And I do think we go back to a little bit more of that once Salah goes, which is coming up in the next month anyway. Salah might even be asked to play it himself. He might be asked to play more central as part of a front two. Who knows? There's still time for him to adapt yet again in his Liverpool career, as he's done so many times before. But yes, those would be my player ratings. Arne Slot, I think he was terrific. I think he made the right decision midweek. Didn't quite understand it at the time. Or rather, we did understand it, but it was a little bit of one of them like, Arne, you've got to win now at the weekend, mate. If you're doing that, you've got to win at the weekend. He's done it. He's won it. We've won the game. 3 points, and not only 3 points, but a really, really good performance. Really made up with it. And on we go to Real Madrid midweek. I'm live for that one. I'm live tomorrow for West Ham and Newcastle. I'm live straight after that for Bournemouth and Manchester City. Make sure you've liked, followed, subscribed, shared, commented. Let me know what you think in the player ratings. Did I get any massively wrong? Is there anyone who you would have given a better score or a worse score? Let me know. And either way, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.